make this yours. I'll invite you to meet me in a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you in your space. Setting a theme for our practice today, I'll invite you to tune in to the sound of your own voice as we consider our throat and the space that our breath moves through to fill up the chest below and moves through to send the waist back out when we're finished. A voice that vibrates and allows us to speak up for ourselves and take space in the world, make space in the world. As you're tuning into the sound of your breath, your voice, I'll offer a couple of different breathing practices for you to try or consider which one you would like to choose. We might take 3 to 5 breaths together with one of these, the first being horse's breath. It is much like it sounds. I'll invite you to practice horse's breath by just taking one big breath in and exhaling long and slow to flutter the lips like a horse. Option number 2 is to practice bee's breath, a kind of soft buzzing around the lips and maybe even the space between the teeth. With another long inhale, you're invited to give it a try. As you fill up and then focus on the exhale, humming with a long sound to yourself. And the last option for you to give a try might be lion's breath, simply taking a big breath in and sighing with the mouth open, maybe even letting the tongue hang out, up to you, letting all that heat, all that exhale come out quick and full. So let's take several breaths together with the practice of your choice. Let's make it 3 to 5. I'll move through these. You might join me or choose one to repeat with. Together, you might choose to join me for an inhale. I will exhale to horse's breath. Choose to take another inhale, preparing for bee's breath. Focusing on the exhale, a long using that sound until your breath is done. Choose to join another deep breath in. Maybe sighing with a big lion's breath. Your choice, maybe 2 more breaths. From here, as you're ready to move, you may begin to make soft, organic neck circles. Maybe rotating the face towards the ceiling and the floor, from side to side. Letting your head be heavy in all directions. Still offering yourself support. You could even bring one or both hands up to the sides of your face as you need support. You might look up and down, nodding yes. As you look up, you might inhale. Exhaling to look down at your lap, still sitting tall. Moving with your breath. Maybe tucking your chin with extra effort to add length to the back of the cervical spine. Maybe pressing your chin skyward, stretching your throat, opening and closing the jaw if you choose. Maybe incorporating lion's breath again with a big sigh out. As your face moves through neutral, you may choose to shift, looking left and right, nodding no. Maybe choosing to find your belt for support. You could also use a towel or sheet. Anything to create length between both hands. We'll take it in the fist with arms out wide and bring it with slack to the bottom of your skull, the base of your neck. And press the nape of your neck into that point of support using the strength of your arms to create resistance with lift. You might think tall thoughts here. Take a breath in. Notice this effort. And as you exhale, pressing your head back into the support you've created, you might find length with the back of the neck as your head becomes heavy behind you. Use the strength of your arms lifting and reaching outward to support the weight of your head as you choose to look left and right. Sort of cradling the head as we allow some soft lateral rotation. You can even kind of use the belt or towel to kind of scrub your head from left to right, using the support to create rotation more than the muscles in your neck. Just things to try. None of this is right or wrong. Listen to your body as always. Make this yours. You might press into that point of support as you continue to create lift. Ooh, noticing the length of the cervical spine as you slide your chin back in space as though closing a drawer. As your face spines upright, your arms might find slack, allowing your belt to come to the floor. You might set it aside, making any adjustments needed. I'll invite you to prepare for a seated cat-cow, maybe sitting as you are in a comfortable seat, whether crisscross applesauce or finding your way to your knees. Your fingertips may find their way to the front of your knees, creating length and strength in those points of connection with both arms. Notice your hip points connected to the earth beneath you as you inhale and grow tall, lifting your heart towards the sky, maybe lifting your chin as well. And exhaling, rounding through your lumbar spine, reaching back behind you with your whole spine as you lean into the length of both arms, tucking the tailbone, maybe making space between the shoulder blades. And looking at your lap, this might be a really small movement or it might be really dramatic. It's up to you. Move with your breath. Inhale to sit tall, look up. Exhale to round, curl, empty out. Inhale, fill up. Remembering your breath practices, you have the option to sigh with an open mouth, maybe sending your tongue out for lion's breath. Might be appropriate for your cat pose. Or try bee's breath again. Horse's breath, maybe relieving some tension in the face. Continue as long as you'd like here, or find stillness when you feel complete. Thinking tall thoughts, you may choose to stay right where you are, or join me in preparing for a seated, supported camel pose. I'll demonstrate this with 2 blocks to sit upon, a stack of books or a couple of pillows, a cushion from your couch. Whatever might make this accessible for you is more than appropriate to bring along. I invite you to make yourself a tuffet and incorporate some softness for support under your knees as well. And if it's accessible for you today, you might find your way onto hands and knees, or you can sit in a chair right on the edge of the seat. You can modify this to make it right for you. So as you find your way onto support, maybe slightly more upright than if you were to sit directly on your heels, another option could be to roll up a towel or blanket and place it behind both knees, hopefully taking a little pressure out of the knee joint if that's a tender point for you today. Things to consider for your practice as you find an upright seat. I'll invite you to notice your breath as well as the length of your spine. Think about sliding your chin back in space like closing a drawer, creating length for the back of the neck, the cervical spine. Also imagine, excuse me, lifting your crown as though there's a string tied to the top of your noggin, lifting you skyward. You may choose to draw your abdominal muscles in as though pulling your belly button toward your spine. Maybe finding neutrality in the tip of your hips after practicing that cat-cow pose with the anterior-posterior flexion. As you find stillness and notice the sound of your voice, I'll invite you to bring one or both fists to your low back. You may explore here finding the flattest portion to set those knuckles on as you draw your elbows back in space. This allows the collarbone to be broad, opening up the chest. Think about shoelaces between your shoulder blades, lacing them up behind you, drawing those elbows together as though they're going to hold a block up behind you. This is enough. This is good work. You can stay here and think those tall thoughts. Imagine knitting your lowest ribs together, drawing your belly button towards your spine, sitting tall with a broad chest, and practicing that squeeze with the elbows behind you. That's a lot. Again, you can bring your chin back in space as you take another breath in. And choose to stay here or bring your hands to a flat palm, pointing the fingers toward the floor. And the thumbs can turn outward, still squeezing those elbows together behind you. From here, you may choose to look up, just like you did in your seated cow pose. Imagine a string tied to your heart or even your throat, lifting them toward the sky as you draw your elbows together behind you, as well as your abdominals in front of you. Can you stay here and breathe? Can you sustain this supportively for your body and breath? Another option could be to reach down with one set of fingertips. Maybe you touch your heel, touch your foot, touch your toes, or even find the earth. If you're able to find a point of connection, be mindful of your belly button as you choose to bring the other hand down for connection as well. You may choose to lift your heart and let your head hang back any amount in your camel pose. And as you're ready to come out, do so as you came in, offering yourself support with one hand on your low back, drawing the elbow back in space as well. And with strength behind your belly button around your core, bring the other hand up. Begin to lift your face, rolling the shoulders up and forward. Still squeezing your elbows together behind. Begin to press your lumbar into your hands into your lumbar. Finding uprightness with your head, your shoulders, your lumbar spine, and your hips. Ooh, lots to pay attention to. Notice how you feel if you explored this very broad heart opener in camel pose. It's a lot to warm up with. So maybe reach over one shoulder with the opposite hand, give yourself a squeeze or a pat and say, good job. And if you opted out, do the same. Say, good job. Taking care of yourself is key. From here, I invite you to make your way with me now to hands and knees in your space. Again, practicing self-care.